Okay, hi everybody, it's me, Bonkai922. Yeah, I was dead ass tired yesterday. So unfortunately, this is going to be a very late Kaisen review. Let's go, Joe. Anyway, so this one was called Episode 9, Tokyo Colony number 1. Let me just make sure I got that title right. Yeah, Tokyo number 1 Colony. Tokyo Colony. Yes, Tokyo Colony number 1, part 3. Now, this was a very intense episode. Now, Yuji, it's all about Yuji, this episode. It's all about Yuji and the person he's trying to convince, which is basically scrolling down. Huguruma. So, Huguruma has deadly sentencing. This is a technique, basically, this is a domain expansion you can't do anything in. You can't fight somebody in it. You can't muscle your way out. It's literally, it's a court case. So, what basically happens is the judge man puts forth a crime of Yuji, which was that he entered the in Japan they have these things called pachinko place halls. He entered there under the age. So the judge basically he tries to say, "Yeah, I went in there, but I went to use the bathroom." No, you have a photo of him, uh, you know, basically going to get the money and stuff to exchange at the pachinko place. So this results in them taking away. He's guilty, and they take away basically his curse energy because he has no curse technique. That's basically confiscation. So to people who haven't read the manga, remember this. Because this technique and this ability will become important later on. Now, after this happens, they get out of the court case, and then Haguruma just attacks him with his hammer. Yeah, his hammer is crazy. The judge is extending it, making it bigger, he's throwing them. It's crazy because he's wondering how he's able, Yuji's able to do this. He's very powerful, Yuji, and he begins to piece that together. And eventually, what happens is Yuji gets on the stage of that area because it's like a theater, and he's got this massive hammer. Holy shit! And he's trying to squash Yuji, and Yuji just says retrial because he wasn't basically he didn't admit guilt, so they asked for a retrial. However, this time the judge man has a different offense. He's saying, did you kill the residents of Shibuya of the night of October 31st? Legitimately, he confesses. Now, the thing about it is this. Yuji, it's funny when this happens because, Haruma's like shocked and he's pissed because he sees the evidence. He knows this is a lie. Like, why did you confess? Because obviously Yuji feels like, that he did it. And they have a fight, and the judge is like, death penalty! Says guilty! Confiscation! Death penalty! And then he gets, Haruma gets the, Higuruma, I'm gonna have a hard time saying that name, gets this executioner sword. Basically, when he has this sword, if he attacks you with it and hits you, you're dead. You're dead. That's it. End of story. Remember this, as it has precedence later on. So they have their fight, and they're going at it back and forth, and when it seems like Haruma, he's debating this, and he's seeing scenes of his past, of this guy he knew. Why didn't you become a judge? And he basically says, "Why don't want to?" Because he thought Haruma wanted to elevate into being a judge instead of a lawyer, and he says because people are ugly and weak or something. He has a little tidbit on that, and that's when he confronts Yuji and saying, you didn't do this. Why did you confess? The evidence points that your body was taken over by Sukuna. And at the last minute, when it looks like Irwin was going to attack him with the sword, he drops it, and Yuji punches. And then he goes on a diatribe about, the whole penal code, everything, and saying that he's innocent and so on and so forth. Now, the episode does conclude with them having a discussion, and he asks Yuji, have you killed anyone of your own volition? And he says yes. And then towards the end of the episode, what happens is he puts in a new rule for the Culling games, that players can transfer players can transfer points to other players. And then he establishes that rule. He gives 1 point to Yuji, and he leaves. Because he says, in his last line, he would hate himself if he followed Yuji. That was such a powerful episode for this character. Now, I already know what happens to him, and I ain't spoiling shit, but I thought they did a fantastic job, Mappa, going in on this character and bringing him to the forefront. It was done very well. It was spectacular, in my opinion. This was possibly the best episode of the season. And I'm saying a lot because we only got like 3 more? Because as far as I know, based on my Mal, we got 12 episodes. So it's not going to, but most likely, knowing the fact that it's called Culling Game Part 1, there's probably going to be a second core down the line. I think probably in the fall or something like that, we'll get another second core of the Culling games, and we'll go from there. But overall, I'm putting my stamp on this. This was the best episode of the entire freaking season. So I'm glad we at least got this for this season, because it really shows you this character looking at Yuji and saying, you're innocent. This is somebody who was not part of the Shibuya thing. Who's not part of Jujutsu society. Sorcerer society. Haruma, this guy was a lawyer. And he got turned into a sorcerer. That's it. So does him come out and say you're innocent and everything in between, it really speaks volumes for this whole thing. I mean, because Yuji said, I'm weak and everything. But to have someone come in and just bluntly state that you're innocent, for him to say you're innocent, and even admit it in the episode. Remember when he got his powers and all that shit? He killed the prosecutor. He killed the prosecutor. And I believe also they said the judge when he got that ability. And then he basically stated towards when this is all over, he's going to turn himself in. Crazy. 10 out of 10 for this one. We got 3 more episodes left. I have some feedback of what I'm going to do for the spring. Praise the gods. Doro is going to be on Crunchyroll. Okay. So I'm probably going to review that. Listen, spring, it's going to be low. I'm looking at only 2 episode reviews for this spring because we are approaching towards the end of the month. We'll get into April and we'll be approaching that. So I'll probably only review that. Yes. And there's some other shows that are coming down the pipe in the spring. I will probably do anime series reviews for. One I definitely am going to review. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Bankai Night 22. Great episode of Kaisen. Later tonight, I will do Trigun. You know, and like I said, sorry about Hell's Paradise, and I didn't really mesh up what I was doing. So I will do a full-on review on the entire season 2 from where I stopped to where it ends and give my thoughts. This is Bankai Night 22. Catch you guys later.